Today, I'm going to tell you a story in clear, easy English. We will be working at level A1, beginner. Turn on the subtitles to see the translation in your own language.
The truth I didn't want to see. My name is Lisa. I am 34 years old. I live in a small town. I work at a grocery store. I have been married for 10 years. My husband's name is Mark. He is 36 years old. He works in an office in the city. We live a simple life. We do not have children. For many years, I trusted Mark. He was kind, and he made me laugh. He cooked dinner on weekends. He hugged me every morning. I believed everything was fine. But one day, small things started to change. He came home late, and he looked tired. He did not talk very much. He said he was busy with work. I tried to believe him. At first, I believed him. People get busy and work can be hard. Life can be stressful for everyone. I wanted to trust him completely, so I did not ask any questions. But the changes grew bigger. He stopped eating dinner with me. He sat alone with his phone every night. He smiled at the screen, but not at me. He always turned his phone face down. I started to feel worried. Something felt wrong in our home. I could not explain the feeling. My heart felt heavy and sad. I felt alone, even when he was there. One night, Mark said he had to work late again. He put on a nice shirt and used his best cologne. He looked too good for a late work night. I watched him walk out the door. The strange feeling in my chest grew stronger. After he left, I sat on the couch and tried to relax. My hands felt cold, and my mind felt loud. I could not stop thinking about him. I knew something was not right. I sent him a message about dinner. He did not answer my message. 5 minutes passed, then 10 minutes passed. I stared at my phone and waited. He still did not answer. My stomach began to hurt. I stood up and walked around the living room. I felt nervous and scared. Then I made a decision. I put on my coat and grabbed my keys. I decided to go see if he was really working. I drove to his office slowly. I wanted to stay calm. Maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe I was just worried for no reason. I told myself this again and again. When I reached the office building, it was dark. Only a few windows had light. Mark's office was not one of them. I parked my car and waited quietly. I tried to breathe normally. 10 minutes later, I saw him. He walked out of the building next door. He was not alone. A woman walked beside him. She was smiling at him. My heart dropped inside my chest. My hands started to shake. I felt like I could not breathe. I did not want to believe what I saw, but it was too clear to ignore. Mark touched the woman's arm gently. She laughed softly at something he said. He opened the car door for her. They both got into his car. He drove away with her beside him. A part of me broke in that moment. It was the part that trusted him. It was the part that loved him deeply. It was the part that believed all his stories. I felt pain that I had never felt before. I followed the car slowly and carefully. Rain began to fall and the lights blurred. My eyes felt hot with tears. I kept driving even though it hurt. I needed to know the truth. They stopped at a restaurant. It was a nice place with warm lights. It was a place Mark never took me. He got out of the car first, then he helped the woman out. They walked inside together. They walked close to each other. They looked comfortable and happy. They looked like a couple. I parked far away and watched them. I cried quietly in the car. My tears felt heavy and warm. After a few minutes, I stopped crying. I wiped my face and took a deep breath. I knew I needed to be strong. I walked toward the restaurant slowly. My legs felt heavy with fear. My heart felt weak and tired, but I kept walking. I opened the restaurant door. Warm light came over me as I walked in. I looked around the room carefully. There they were. Mark and the woman were sitting together. They were holding hands at the table. I walked toward them step by step. Mark looked up and saw me. His face turned pale immediately. His hand dropped away from hers. He looked shocked and guilty. "Lisa?" he said in a shaky voice. He sounded scared. The woman looked confused. She pulled her hand away from him. She looked down at her plate. I felt pain and anger at the same time, but I also felt strong. I stood tall and looked at Mark. My voice was soft but steady. I asked, "Who is she, Mark?" Mark said nothing. He did not explain anything. The silence felt heavy and cold. The silence hurt more than his actions. I turned around and walked away. I left the restaurant without another word. I drove home with a quiet mind. I packed a small bag with a few clothes. I wrote a note for Mark. It said, "I know. I saw you. I need time." I left the note on the table. Then I walked out of the house. I drove to my sister's home. She opened the door quickly. She hugged me without asking questions. I stayed with my sister for a few days. I rested and I cried when I needed to. I drank warm tea and took long walks. I talked to her about everything. I slowly felt my strength returning. I learned something important. I am stronger than I thought. I deserve honesty in my life. I deserve love that is real. I deserve respect from my partner. 1 week later, Mark sent me a message. He said he was sorry for everything. He said it was a mistake. He said he still loved me. He asked if we could talk. I did not answer right away. I needed time to think. I needed space to heal. I needed to protect my heart. The truth had changed everything. I do not know what will happen next. Maybe we will talk soon. Maybe we will separate forever. Maybe I will start a new life alone. I am not sure yet. But I know one thing. I am not weak. I am not broken. I am not alone. I will be okay.
I hope you enjoyed this story. Please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Until next time, take care and learn something new every day.